Dear students, I'm very happy to see you all in this video lecture on course code U18 PCIT 501, and the course name is Data Mining. And myself, Dr. R. Yogesh Rajkumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology, working in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. And I am going to deliver you this lecture in the topic of data warehouse components and multidimensional model. So first, let us see what is a data mining is. Data mining is the process of finding anomalies, patterns, and correlations within large data sets to predict the outcomes. So when you see what is a anomalies is nothing but the flow of data. So how the flow of data in the database. So when you see what is a pattern is something which is going to happen here. That is what the pattern is. And the correlation, you guys know, like the correlation is nothing but the connection between two components. That is what the correlation is within the large data set to predict the outcomes. That is what the data mining is. So in simple word, data mining is defined as a process used to extract usable data from a larger set of any raw data. So when you see this diagram, you can see keep on uh, mining data. For example, you can see the particular person is mining something to get a gold. So is we keep on mining. So until he reaches it goals. So the same process is used in data mining until you get the particular knowledge of a particular concept. That is what the data mining. So in simple words, we have seen like it's a process of used to extract usable data from larger set of any raw data. So when you see what is a data warehouse, a data warehouse is a relational database that is designed for query and analysis rather than transaction processing. It includes historical data derived from transaction data from single and multiple sources. So when you see a data warehouse provides integrated enterprise world wide historical data and focuses on providing support for decision makers for data modeling and analysis. So when you see the data warehouse, it is nothing but where you're going to find a raw data here. There will be a relational database there. So it main support for data warehouses for uh, making a decision here. So that is what the data warehouses have been used here. So you can see the data warehouse, how a user can, how a user is going to analyze, and the main purpose of data warehouses, a user is going to analyze and visualize where they can see the data here. So in data warehouse, the data may be in a database. So you can see the database nothing but the collection of rows and columns which has been indexed here. So that will be a database. The flat files is nothing but some SQL files or something like that. So you can see these, like it will be merged in a data warehouse. So in this case, like the user is going to analyze the data and is going to visualize in to the related to make some decisions. That is what the data warehouse is. So when you're coming to the characteristics of data warehouse, so data warehouse is a subject oriented, integrated, time variant, and non-volatile collection of data in support of management decision making process. So when you see what is subject oriented data, the warehouse is organized around the major subjects of the enterprise. Example, customer, products, and sales, rather than the major application areas. Example, customer invoicing, stock controls, and product sales. So this is what the subject related is. So this is reflected in the need to store decision support data rather than application oriented data. So when you see coming to the integrated data, the data warehouse integrates corporate application oriented data from different source systems, which often includes data that is inconsistent. The integrated data source must be made consistent to present a unified view of the data to the users. So when you see non-volatile data, data in the warehouse is not updated in the real time, but it is refreshed from operational system on a regular basis. So there will be a olden data, old data or historical data where you can use that. So in new data is always added as a supplement to the database rather than a replacement. This is what about a non-volatile data is. So when you coming to the goals of data warehousing, to helps reporting as well as analysis. So the main purpose of data warehousing, I will say, due to analyze and visualization. So maintain the organization historical information, which you have seen in the previous case, like a non-volatile data. So be the foundation for decision making. So the main goal is for foundation for the decision making. So what is the need for data warehouse? So who will be using the data warehouse? So the business users use this data warehouse for making decision. So you can store the historical data, and it is used to make some statistic decisions for data consistency and quality, and also high response time. So when you see the benefits of data warehouse, it understand business trends and make better forecasting decisions. So whenever you see, the main thing is to make a decision, whether it may be in the future or it may be in the current situation. So this is what the benefit of the data warehouse. Data warehouse all are designed to perform well enormous amount of data. So the structure of data warehouse is more accessible for end users to navigate, understand, and query. Queries that would be complex in many normalized databases could be easier to build and maintain a data warehouse. A data warehousing provides the capabilities to analyze a large amount of historical data. So in data warehouse, we have seen like it will be in a data a DBMS file, and it will be in a flat files. So it will be having a, in data warehouse we'll be having large amount of files. So it may be historical data, it may be a current data. So we are going to analyze and we are going to take the exact output which we need. That is what the data warehouse. So when you coming to the data warehouse architecture, a data warehouse architecture is a method of defining the overall architecture of data communication, processing, and presentation that exists for end clients computing within the enterprise. Each data warehouse is different, but all are characterized by standard detail components. Production applications such as payroll, accounts payable, product purchasing, and inventory control are designed for online transaction processing. So you can see the term online transaction processing, OLTP. OLTP is nothing but which is a day-to-day operation. So you can see such applications gather data from day-to-day operations. So the day-to-day activity which has been performed is called as OLT. That is what the online transaction processing. So you can see it has been used in the bank side. So because in banks they will be using a day-to-day activities. That is what the OLTP. They will be following the OLTP, online transaction processing. So when you coming to the data warehouse applications are designed to support the user ad hoc data requirements and activity recently dubbed online analytical processing. This includes applications such as forecasting, profiling, summary reporting, and trend analysis. So OLAP is nothing but online analytical processing. So we are going to analyze some data and we are going to process that. So it will be useful for application like such as forecasting, profiling, summary reporting, and trend analysis. This is what the thing we are going to see in data warehouse architecture. So when you see the architecture has been made as a data source, you can see the data sources here, staging area, which is our ETL, and another one is data warehouse, data marts. You can see the user groups, so sales, purchase, and all those things. So when you see the term you can see here is a metadata and data mart. So when you see what is a data mart is, uh, when you're coming to see what is a metadata is and what is a data mart is. So when you see metadata is nothing but data about data. That is what a metadata is. Metadata is nothing but a data about data. So for example, if you take a music file, that music file will includes the track and the artist name, the album name, which year it has been established. All those things will be established in this particular thing. That is what we will be calling as metadata here. So we'll be having the things which is called as data about the data. That is what the metadata is. So when you coming to see what is a uh, what is a data, what is the thing we are going to see here is data source, how the data source will be, and how we are going to move the data into the staging area, and how we are going to move it to the data warehouse where we'll be using the metadata here, and you'll be seeing the data mart. So in data mart, you can see it includes a subset of corporate wide data, which is like a value to a specific group of users. So in this case, you can see this accepts like a particular selected subjects. That is what a metadata is, where where is a metadata data mart is, where we can say like you can see in this diagram, the user group has been interested in sales and purchase. So they can from data mart they can easily access the easily take out the things what they have been need, like the sales and purchase. So in the when you see the user group second one, user group 2, they have been interested in sales and stock. So they can easily move their take the data from that particular thing. This is what about the data mart is. So this will give some useful information regarding this. So when you're coming to the overview of the components, you can see the source data component here. So that is what the first thing, source data component. So when you see, you can see this diagram here. So before going this overview of the component, you can see the source data component, production data, internal data, archive data, external data, data stacking component, extraction, transformation, cleaning, standardization, loading, data storage component, information delivery component, metadata component, management, control component. So these are the overview of the components which we have been seeing the diagram. So you can see in this, diagram, it shows the essential elements of a typical warehouse, where we see the source data. You can see the left hand side source data on the left hand side, the data stacking element, which shows at the, you can see the next building block there, which is a data stacking element there. So in the middle we can see the uh, data storage component. So you can see the data warehouse, DBMS, metadata, and all those things plays in the middle of the thing where we can store the data here. So this element, so when you see this element not only stores and manages the data, it also keeps track of the data using the metadata repository. You can see the metadata and data warehouse above the data warehouse DAV means. So it keeps the track of data using in the metadata repository. So you can see the on the right hand side, you can see the information delivery component, which shows on the right, consists of all different ways of making up the information or making the information from the data warehouse. So you can see it has been making the information from the data warehouse. So what you can see is which is available to the users. That is what the data warehouse component is. So when you see, when you're coming to the source data component here, so when you start with the source data component, you can see the data acquisition here. You are the where you can, if you like, you are the data analyst on the project team building a data warehouse for an insurance company. This is the possible data sources from which you will bring data into data warehouse. So you can see the production data, data from various operational systems, and external data for finding trends and comparisons against other organizations. Internal data, which is private confidential data imported to an organization. Archive data for getting some historical information. So when you see this production data, this type of data comes from the operating system. So that is what the thing has been mentioned here, operational systems. It has been comes from the operating system of the enterprise, which is based on the data requirements in the data warehouse. That is what the production data is. So when you coming to see the external data, which like you can see most executives depend upon the information from external sources for for a large percentage of the information what they are going to use. That is what the external data we can see here. And the internal data, so internal data is nothing but a private confidential which has been given. So in each organization, the client keeps their private spreadsheets. So that will be in a form of spreadsheets. So they will be keeping as private spreadsheets, reports, customer profiles, and sometimes which has been used for the department data, which has been stored in the department database. So this is an internal data part. So on the final, when you see the archive data, which is nothing but the operational systems, are mainly intended to run the current business at every operation system. So we periodically take the old data and store it as an archive files. That is what the archive data. So when you're coming to the data stacking, so what you will be seeing in the data stacking is ETL. So this is what the process we are going to see extraction, transformation, and loading. So what it does, first let us see what is data extraction is. Select data sources, determine filters, automatic replicate, create intermediary files. So this method has to deal with numerous data sources. We have to employ the appropriate techniques to each data source. That is what the thing of extraction. So when you come into the data transformation, data for a data warehouse comes from many different sources. So you can see we are going to transfer the data. So in this case, we'll be collecting the data from different sources here. So the data will be extracted from a data warehouse, and it has been poses to a bigger challenges where the data transformation presents significant challenges. We perform several individual tasks a part of a data transformation. So what are the tasks will be is clean, merge, deduplicate data, cover data types, calculate the derived data, resolve synonyms and homonyms. And finally, once the extraction and transformation is done, what we are going to do is we are going to load that particular data. So what we are going to do is we are going to load the data is nothing but the process of data loading. So two distinct categories of tasks from data loading function. So when we complete this structure and construction of the data warehouse, so everything has been completed, we go on live for the first time to the initial loading. So when this particular things has been performed, extraction, transformation, and all those information has been performed, now we will be going to load the data. So the initial load most high volumes of data using up a substantial amount of time. So this is what the ETL process is. So you can see the data process will be RDBMS file, SQL server, and already I said you it may be in a platform. So the stacking area of transformation here. So in this case, the ETL process has been done here. Already said what is the extraction is and what the transformation is, and then it has been loaded into data warehouse. That is what the ETL process is. So when you're coming to the characteristics of data storage, as a separate repository, data content, read only, integrated high volumes, grouped by business objects, subjects, metadata driven. Data from data warehouse is aggregated in metadata data components. So when you come into the first thing on the right hand side where you can see the information delivery component. So you can see these are the data storage components for the data warehousing, where we are going to see a split repository. I already say like a repository, the metadata will be acting as a repository. So the data repositories for the operation system generally include the current data, include only the current data here. So these data repositories include the data structure in highly normalized for fast and efficient. So already said like for fast and efficient thing where the user can easily retrieve the data. That is what the information delivery, that is what the data storage component does. The uses or the functions of the data storage component. When you coming to the information delivery component, the information delivery component is used to enable the process of subscribing of data warehouse like files and having it transferred to one or more destinations. So it will, you can see the other destinations, online, internet, email. So these are the other destination according to the customer specification. So you can see the statistical analysis need through intranet and the email. So you can see these are the things and the mode which has been the data has been transferred. So when you're coming to the metadata component, so you can see the metadata component is nothing but data about data in the data warehouse. So already said it is like a data dictionary or the data, it's where we can also say as a data catalog here in a database in management the system in management system here. So in data dictionary we keep the data about the logical data structures, the data about the records and address and all those things which I already said you example of a music file system. So this is what the metadata here can be of three types. One is an operational metadata, extraction and transformation metadata, end user metadata. So when you see the operational metadata contains information about the operational data sources, details pertaining extraction and transformation metadata is details pertaining to extraction frequencies, extraction methods, business rules, rules for data extraction, and end user metadata. So the importance of the data warehouse, you can see it acts as the glue that connect all parts of the data warehouse. It provides information about the contents and structures to the developers. So it opens the door to the end users and makes their contents recognizable in their own terms. So when you're coming to the management and control, so you can see sits on top of all components. So the management and control elements coordinates the services and functions within the data warehouse. So these components were the management and control. So these components, you can see the term control here. So these components control the data transformation and the data transfer into the data warehouse and storage. Data warehouse storage. That is what the, so you can say in a, on the service and the activities within the data warehouse, controls the data transformation and transfer in data warehouse storage. So when you coming to the next one, which is a data cube model. So you can see what is a data cube is, where a data is grouped or combined together in a multi-dimensional matrices called data cubes. So that is what a data cube is. So you can see grouped or combined together in a multi-dimensional matrices called data cubes. So multi-dimensional, it may be in a 2-dimension or it may be in a 3-dimension. So it will be presented in row and columns or products. So you can see in the 3 dimensions, regions, products, and fiscal quarters here. So you can see the diagram here where it has been mentioned fiscal quarters, other thing is 2-dimension, otherwise 3-dimension. So in this it has been mentioned here. So we can see data cubes have categories of data called dimensions and measures. So these are the two things which is going to take place in the data cubes. So when you see what is a measure is, it represents some fact or number such as cost or unit of service. So when you see in the diagram, you can understand like what the measure is going to be mentioned here. So it is going to mention as a fact or number. So you can see the term as number here, such as cost or unit of service. So when you're coming to the dimension here, dimension it represents the descriptive categories of data such as time or location. So it's going to represent the time or locations. That is what we will be seeing in the diagram. So when your data cube is created from a subset of attributes in the database, specific attributes are chosen to be measure attributes. That is the attributes whose values are of interest. Another attributes are selected as dimensions or functional attributes. The measure attributes are aggregated according to the dimensions. A data cube enables data to be modeled and viewed in multiple dimensions. A multidimensional data model is organized around a central theme like sales and transactions. So a multidimensional model is going to act as a central theme. So you can see the data cube here. So in this case, the left hand side has been mentioned as time quarter, which is nothing but the fiscal, which has been mentioned the year, 4 quarters here, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So the item types has been mentioned there below one, where you can see the home entertainment computer, and these are the item types. In the above, in the top area, you can see the locations: Vancouver, Toronto, New York, Chicago. These are the locations of the cities of US. So this type of models are applied to a hierarchical view, such as roll-up display or drill-down display. So when you see what is a roll-up display here? So what is the operation? You can see roll-up operation is performed by dimension reduction. One or more dimensions are removed from a dimension cube. Roll-up refers to the process of viewing data with the decreasing detail. The navigation path is determined by hierarchy within the dimension. So you can see it's also called as an aggregation operation. So it performs aggregation on a data cube. This is what the operation has been performed by rollup. So in this case, it performs a operation on a data cube, either by climbing up on a concept hierarchy for a dimension or by climbing down on a concept hierarchy. This is what the like a dimension reduction. You can see this is what a dimension reduction. That is what the roll-up operation is. So you can see the example here where a roll-up on a cities or countries. So you can see that things has been changed there. So in the first case, you can see US has been given. For example, you can see what we can say is from, if I have been given a state here is, you will be deriving some destination. So in state from Tamil Nadu, which district is that, and then which city it belongs to, which street is belongs to. So these are the things uh, is are the smaller characteristics. So it will be moving to the decreasing detail. So when you see these are the things decreasing detail, when you see the, it will be move on to the decreasing detail. So you can see the cities here. So when you see drill down display here, it is a reverse of roll up here. It navigates from less detailed data to more detailed data. It can also perform by adding new dimension to a cube. Drill down refers to the process of viewing data at a level of increased detail. So you can see the reverse operation. It's a reverse operation of roll up on. So it's like zooming in on the data cube. It navigates. So you can see Chicago, New York, Toronto, Vancouver has been given here. So in this case, we can see Q1. So Q1, Q2, you can see the physical year here given as time quarter here. So Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 is what is Q1? Q1 belongs to Jan, Feb, and March. So Q2 belongs to April, May, June. So these are the things that has been mentioned from drill down here. So when you jumping on to a schema structure here, so we are going to see three schemas here. First, let us see what is a star schema. It's a elementary form of a dimensional model in which data are organized into facts and dimensions. A fact is an event that is counted or measured, such as a sale or login. A dimension includes a reference data about the fact, such as date, time, or customer. Advantages of star schemas: query performance, load performance, and administration, built-in referential integrity, easily understood. So when you see fact tables, a fact table is the central table in the star schema of data warehouse. A fact table stores quantitative information for analysis. It is often denormalized. A table in a star schema which contains facts and connected to dimensions. A fact table has of two types of columns: those that include fact and those that are foreign keys to the dimension table. The primary key of the fact table is generally a composite key that is made up of all of its foreign keys here. So when you see the steps to design a fact table, choose a business process to a model, declare the grain, choose the dimension, and identify the facts. So the dimension table is an architecture usually composed for one or more hierarchies that categorize the data. If a dimension has not hierarchies and level, it is called a flat dimensional list. The primary key of such each of the dimension table are part of the composite primary keys of the fact table. Dimension tables are referenced by fact table using keys. When creating a dimension table in a data warehouse, system generated key is used to uniquely identify a row in the dimension. This key is also known as a surrogate key. A data warehouse organizes descriptive attributes as column and dimension table. For example, a customer dimension attributes could include first and last name, birth date, gender, etc. So see, you can see this is what the example of the star schema has been given here. So it will be consist of a single fact table which has been surrounded with different dimension tables. So you can see the example here. So you can see the foreign keys: item, location, branch, time, dollar sold, average sales. These are the foreign keys which has been given the star schema. So you can see the different dimension tables. The fact table is which is in the middle here. So you can see the dimension table, which is a time, item, branch, location. These are the dimension table. So from this is what the foreign key has been mentioned. This is what the structure of a star schema is. A schema is known as a snowflake schema, which is the next one. Is one of more dimension tables do not connect directly to the fact table, but must join through other dimensional tables. So you can see a fact consists of, in the previous case, we have seen a single fact table which has been surrounded with different dimension table. But in snowflake schema, the same fact table will be there. It will be surrounded with different dimension table, and from dimension table you can create another dimension table. Another dimension has been performed. So that is what the snowflake here. Snowflaking is a method of normalizing. That is the main keyword. It is a snowflaking is the method of normalizing the dimensional table in a star schema. When we normalize all the dimension tables entirely, the resultant structure resembles a snowflake with the fact table in the middle. Snowflaking is used to develop the performance of specific queries. The snowflake schema consists of one fact table which is linked to many dimension table, which can be linked to other dimension table through many to one relationship. So each dimension table perform exactly one level in a hierarchy. So you can see the example here. A fact table is center and which has been surrounded with the foreign keys. That is the dimension table: time, key, item, time, item, location, branch. So from you can see the location, it has been created another dimension table which is a city, and the supplier type, you can see the supplier key, supplier type there. So this is what the model of snowflake schema. So and the final is fact consolidation schema. So in the previous case, a star snowflake, we have seen a single fact table which has been surrounded with dimension table. In the snowflake, which is a normalized one. So when you come into the fact consolidation schema, it has a multiple fact tables. It is also known as a galaxy schema. It has different fact tables here. So the sales fact table is same as that in the star schema. Fact consolidation schema describes a logical structure of data warehouse or data map. Fact consolidation schema can design with a collection of denormalized fact, shared and confirmed dimension tables. Fact consolidation schema is a sophisticated database design that is difficult to summarize information. Sorry. Fact consolidation schema can implement between aggregated fact tables or decompose a complex fact table into independent simplest fact tables. So you can see the schema structure here, fact consolidation schema here. You can see the fact tables here. You can see different fact tables here, which has been surrounded with the dimension table. So you can see where the fact table is. Sales fact table has been given here, shipping fact table. So you can see two fact tables which has been created from another one, which has been one located here. So you can see which has been surrounded with different dimension table. This is what about the schema architecture, which consists of different fact tables surrounded with dimension table. That is what the fact consolidation schema. So this is what about the schema architectures. So thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, students.